Good morning. So today is Thursday, November 5th, and we are on lesson 12 of Unit 2 in Phonics today. I had to come to the library today to do the video. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Today's a pretty short lesson. Yay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so we are on lesson 12 of Unit 2. Before we get started, we're going to do our playing with blocks. And so I need to pull up that whiteboard that I used yesterday. I don't remember how I did that. Oops, I don't want to do that. Here we go, whiteboard. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to start with today is the sound eed. Eed. What sounds do you hear when you hear eed? So I hear two sounds. I hear an E, like a long E sound, and I hear D. So I hear, that is a terrible D. Let me fix that. Ooh, maybe that's better. Should I do that instead? Y'all like that one better? Okay, so I hear E. I hear a long E and a D. D. Those are the two sounds that I hear in eed. Good. What is the vowel sound in eed? It is the E part. That's right. Okay, so we are going to add the sound sp in front of the E. So I have sp, and then I have the eed. So what is my new word? Eed. Speed. The new word is speed. Good job. All right, so now we're going to add ing to the end of the word speed. So we have speed, and we're going to add ing. Speed, ing. What's the new word, guys? It is speeding. Good. All right, so we're going to add something different this time. Okay, this time I'm going to take away the ing, and at the end of the word speed, I want to add the sound E. So we have speed, E. Speed, E. What's our new word? It's speedy. Very good. So what other words can you guys make with the ED sound? Let's see. I can think of the word mead or feed or heed or need or creed, bleed. Those are all words that have "ed" in them. All right. So now we're going to take the "ed" sound, but we're going to change the "d" to "er." So now it's going to say, ear, ear, like ear. We have ear, like a capital, like a long E sound, not like we've been talking about, but ear, okay? So what sounds do you hear in ear? I hear two sounds. I hear the E and the ear. Those are the two sounds. And the vowel sound for that sound is the E part. All right, so we are going to add to the beginning of this word, we're going to add the sound ch, 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 ear, ch, ear. What's that new word going to be? Ch, ear. It is cheer. Good. So what if I want to take the word cheer and I want to add d to the end of it? Cheered, cheered. What is that new word going to be? Cheered. Good. Okay, so we're going to clear this. We're going to clear away the cheer. All right. So we're still with ear. We still have the sound ear. Okay. But I'm going to add st to the front of it. Ear. St. Ear. What's the new word? Steer. Good. Like you steer the car, or you like have steer, like a big herd of cow. So now I want to take the word steer and I want to add the suffix ing to it. Ing. So what is our new word? That's right. It's steering. Good. Good. All right. So we are going to change the ear and we're going to make it air. Air. Not R, but air. Okay. Air. What sounds do you hear with air? I hear the air. I hear two sounds. Air. Good. We are going to take that sound, and at the beginning, I'm going to say again, air. Air. What's our new word? It is stare. Good. So now I want to take the word stare, and I want to add the suffix ing to it. Stare, ing. What's the new word? Staring. Very good. All right. Can you guys think of any other words that have ear in it? I can think of deer and spear and fear and clear. What about near? What about air? Let's see. Air, like the air in the atmosphere. Pair, care, dare, where. Those are all words that have the air sound in them too. Good job. All right, so I'm going to exit out of the whiteboard and go back to our, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I'm sharing the screen. Okay, see, I wasn't. I'm glad I went back. Let me go back. So we did our plan with blocks. And so now we have we're going to manipulate our phonemes. I'm going to give you a sentence and we're going to break apart the word. So Wesley can smell the food cooking in the kitchen. So when we break apart the word smell, the onset part of that word is the sm, and the rhyming part is l, smell. So smell is the word on the curve. I want to get rid of the part of that, and I want to make it say w, l, swell. What's the new word on the curve? The new word on the curve is swell. Swell. Very good. All right, the next sentence is the color blush is a shade of pink. Blush is the word on the curve. Blush. So if we break this apart, the onset part of that word is the bull, and the rhyming part is ush, blush. Good. I want to take away the old part though, and I want it to say brush, brush. What is the new word on the curve? The new word on the curve is brush, brush. Good. Right. So now the pots make a clunk and clank sound. Clank is the word on the curve. Clank. When we break that apart, the onset of the word is cl, and the rhyming part is ank. clank. Good. I want to take away the old part of that blend and I want it to say cur, crank, crank. What is the new word on the curve? The new word on the curve is crank, crank. Good. All right. So Angela likes to swing at recess. Swing is the word on the curve. The onset part of that word is sw, and the rhyming part of the word is ing, swing, swing. I want to take away the w sound, and I want it to say ol, ol, sling, sling. What's the new word on the curve? That's right. The new word on the curve is sling. Good. All right. Our last one is Dad always has a spare tire in the truck. Spare is the word on the curve. If we break this word apart, the digraph, the part is the onset, and the air part is the blend. Air, air. I want to take away that p sound though, and I want it to say air, air. What is our new word on the curve? It is stare. Stare is the word on the curve. Good job, guys. All right, so our spoonerism for today is, I'm going to say it once, I'm going to say it, let you think for a minute, and then I will let you see it. So the spoonerism for today is vanish is spun. Vanish is spun. What do you guys think it is? Remember, you take the first part of the first word and the first part of the second word and you flip them. Vanish is spun. You guys ready to see it now? Vanish is spun. What do you think it is? So if we take the first part of the first word and the first part of this word and we flip them, it's going to say Spanish is fun. Very good. All right, so our learning targets for today are I can write a draft of a book report, and I can partner read the story, The Pancake, Part 1. All right, so we're going to do the pancake part first, okay? So when authors write about objects or animals that act like real people, that is called personification. For example, if a toothbrush in a story can sing and dance, the author has used personification because real toothbrushes do not sing and dance, right? That non has taken on the characteristics of a person. Okay, so when authors use personification, the story is a fantasy, and a fantasy story usually includes something magical, like a singing toothbrush or a talking hedgehog. So, can you think of examples of personification from the bedtime tale stories that we have read so far? What about the hedgehog and the hare? They don't really talk, do they? They don't really draw maps, do they? They don't really run races against each other. Like they might run, but they don't plan a race. So that is an example of how the author used personification in our bedtime tales book. In today's story, the author uses personification by making the main character, which is a pancake, talk and run. So let's look at the picture on page 57 of the reader. And we're going to pay close attention and look at the pancake's facial expressions in the illustration, okay? And based on this picture, what type of human activities might the pancake do in the story? So let's look at 57. All right, 54, 55, 56. Okay, so look at his face. Look at those facial expressions. What do you think that pancake is thinking right then? He looks kind of worried to me. Like, I think he looks nervous. He looks worried. He sees all the family members holding forks, and he's thinking that maybe they're going to try to eat him. And he's trying to figure out how to avoid being eaten. He doesn't want to be eaten. He looks kind of nervous. All right. So, all right. So, before we read the story, let's preview our spellings that we have been learning about. So we talked about the AR sound that says R. Like we have the words yard, barn, smart, farmers, and started. And then we have the AE sound that even though there's a consonant between the A and the E, it still says A, okay? So we have scared, hair, and pancake. And then we've also talked about the owl sound with OU. And we have outrun and shouted. Right. We have the OW sound that says ow, like gown and plowing. And then today we have some words in our story that are 2 syllables. And remember, we've talked about syllables. A syllable is each part of the word that has a vowel sound, and we hear it, we feel it with our chins. Pancakes, 7, farmers, started, shouted, plowing, outrun. So those are words that have 2 syllables in our story today. All right, now this says we're going to read, but obviously we can't partner read, so I'm going to read it to you, okay? Sure you're listening and following along with me and make sure that we can see the whole page, okay? The Pancake, Part 1. Did you enjoy the tale of the hedgehog and the hare? Asked Mike's dad. Yes, I liked it, said Mike. The hedgehog came up with a good trick. The tale I'd like to tell you next has a trick in it too. Cool, said Mike. Is there a hedgehog in it? Nope, said his dad. But there is a pancake in it. A pancake? Yep. Neat, tell it. But the sun has not set yet. The street lamp is not on yet. Please, I would like to hear it. Will you tell the pancake tale? Once upon a time, there was a mom who had 6 kids. One morning, the mom was grilling a pancake for the kids. The kids looked at the pancake. They got out their forks and started licking their lips. The pancake looked back at the kids. He was scared. He feared the kids would eat him. When the mom was not looking, the pancake jumped out of the pan and ran off. The pancake ran out of the house. Stop, Pancake, shouted the mom from the porch. Stop, Pancake, shouted the 6 kids. All 7 of them chased the pancake as he ran out of the yard, but the pancake was too fast. He outran them. Look at that pancake running. You could tell the dirt kicking up behind his little pancake legs. The pancake ran north on a footpath. He zoomed past a barn and 2 farmers who were plowing the ground. Why are you running, Pancake? The farmers asked. The pancake shouted, I've outrun a mom and 6 kids, and I can outrun you too. I'm too fast and too smart for you. You think so? Said the farmers. They started running, but the pancake was too fast. He outran the farmers. Just then, Mike's sister Anne came in. She was just 3. She had her gown for bed. She had on her gown for bed. See, even teachers make mistakes when they're reading. Just got to make sure you self-correct. Dad, she said, will you tell it to me too? Yes, I will, said her dad. You can sit up here with Mike and hear the rest of the tale. So that is the end of part 1 of the story. Okay, oops, that is not supposed to be there. All right, so tonight for homework, you are going to reread that story with your family. You don't have any questions to do about it today. You're just going to reread the story, okay? All right, it's time to wiggle. Get up and wiggle, guys. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, so I need you to lift an arm. Lift up your arm. Lift it up, lift it up. All right, snort like a hog. All right, so we have been writing narratives in Unit 2. We did one a few weeks last week, and today we're going to begin with a specific type of narrative called a book report. Very fitting that I'm in the library when we're doing this. We're going to do a book report on the story we read this week called The Hare and the Hedgehog. Now remember, a book report is not just a narrative that retells the story. For a book report, you should share your opinion and your thoughts about the story. So we're going to look at worksheet 11.3 to review the writing process. You guys were supposed to have done this yesterday for classwork. Okay, so remember the writing process is you plan, you draft, you edit, and you publish. I put that in the wrong spot. I can't click on it now. Here, let me do this. Okay, so here is the sheet that you were supposed to work on yesterday for the hare and the hedgehog. You were supposed to tell me the characters. Who were the characters? Okay, in the story, The Hare and the Hedgehog, we had the hare, one of the characters. We had the hedgehog as a character, and we had the hedgehog's wife. Where was the setting of the story? Remember, we talked about this yesterday. The setting, oops, little T. The setting of the story was outside near the hedgehog's house. So what happened in the beginning of the story? Okay. First, the hare was always bragging about how fast he was. The hedgehog got tired of hearing about it and came up with an idea. Trick the hare. All right, so that's what happened in the beginning. And then what happened in the middle of the story? Okay, in the middle of the story, so we can say, then the hedgehog got the hare to race with him. But the hedgehog and his wife tricked the hare during the race. And in the end of the story, what happened? Finally, the hare thought he lost the race and that the hedgehog was faster than him. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we are going to work on our book report. Okay. So since you have already done the planning, we're going to work on the draft today. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to need is a title. We're going to need to write a title. What would be a good title of the story? What do you guys think? Probably would be a good idea to say something about the hare and the hedgehog and how he tricked him, right? Ooh, so maybe we should do that. Maybe we should title our story, How the Hedgehog Tricked the Hare. That way it's not the actual story title, but it's similar. Let me pull up a piece of paper. And I'm going to open it with Cami so I can type on it. All right, so here is the title of our story. I don't want it to be blue though. I'm just going to make it black. All right, so How the Hedgehog Tricked the Hare. Okay. There we go. I need another text box, right? All right, so let's go back and see what we need to do next. So we got a title. It says now we need a topic sentence or a topic statement like we did in Whisper. And this should introduce the main characters and the setting. And we also want to share where the story took place. Okay, that's the setting, right? So go back to our notebook paper. Where did, oops. Hold on. Oh, there we are. Okay, so we need to introduce the characters and we need to introduce the setting. Okay, so we need to think, how can we do this? I hear lots of good ideas. Let's see. So we can say that, I need to make this smaller. There we go. All right. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? There we go. So once there was a hare and a hedgehog that raced to see who was the fastest. Okay, that kind of tells us what we're going to be talking about, right? And then we can say the race happened outside near the hedgehog's. Okay. All right, so now we need to tell what happened. So let's go back and look at our chart. Oops, not that. I don't want to see that. We need to go back and look at our chart. So it says first the hare. We can just pretty much say this, okay? So say that okay, so we can say, and remember this is a paragraph, so our sentences stay together. We don't need to hit return yet. So first, well, I need to say, how about we say at first? At first, the hare was always bragging about how fast he was. The hedgehog was tired of listening to it. So he came up with a plan to trick the hare. Okay, doing good so far? All right, so what comes next? Then the hedgehog got the hare to race with him. Okay, then the hedgehog convinced the hare to race with him to see who was the fastest. But the hedgehog and got his wife to help him trick the hare. And then what happens at the end? Finally, the hare thought he lost the race and that the hedgehog was faster than him. We can say, finally, the hare thought he lost the race and that the hedgehog was really faster than him. Okay. But so remember what we said, that it's a book report. Okay, so remember that in a book report we have to include your opinion of the story, and you have to have an ending sentence or a conclusion. Okay, so we need to share how we felt about this. What did we think about this story? So I personally thought the story was funny. So I think the story was funny because I love playing tricks on my friends. The hedgehog also taught the hare a lesson about bragging too much. Nobody likes friends that brag all the time. All right, so now we need to come up with a conclusion sentence. So how can we sum up what we just said? Remember, the conclusion sentence is always very similar to the introduction, okay? So we introduced it by saying that there was a hare and a hedgehog that raced to see who was the fastest. We just talked about the lesson that the hedgehog taught the hare. So I think that we can put those two things together, sort of, and I can say that, let's see, the hedgehog also taught the hare a lesson about bragging too much. The race between the hedgehog and the hare helped the hare to realize that bragging too much was not a good thing. There we go. So it says, let's read our paragraph. Once there was a hare and a hedgehog that raced to see who was the fastest. The race happened outside near the hedgehog's house. First, the hare was always bragging about how fast he was. The hedgehog was tired of listening to it, so he came up with a plan to trick the hare. Then the hedgehog convinced the hare to race with him to see who was the fastest. But the hedgehog got his wife to help him trick the hare. Finally, the hare thought he lost the race and that the hedgehog was really faster than him. I think the story was funny because I love playing tricks on my friends. The hedgehog also taught the hare a lesson about bragging too much. The race between the hedgehog and the hare helped the hare to realize that bragging too much was not a good thing. All right, so that is the end of our lesson. So today your learning targets were to write a draft of a book report, and we did that together. And we read the story, The Pancake, Part 1. Okay, so that actually is the end of today's lesson. You do need to read your story for tonight, and that is the only work that you have for me today, is to reread the story and practice your spelling words, okay? All right, so that's it. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and I will see you later.